In this video, I want to talk about why leftists or liberals or progressives, however you want to refer to them, are hypocrites for having kids and opposing antinatalism. So after being antinatalist for a few years, you kind of observe different groups in society and you see the values they have and think that they would actually really align with antinatalism, and yet they either oppose antinatalism or actually have biological children themselves. And to me, this just makes them absolute hypocrites. And one of these groups is leftists. So leftists, their kind of key thing is opposing unjust systems. This can be racism, sexism, transphobia, ableism. Pick your system of injustice and oppression, and yet they are completely willing to bring a child into that world where they could either be a perpetuator of those systems, they could be a homophobe or a transphobe, or not be those things, but accidentally or inadvertently contribute to systems that perpetuate those things, or they could fall victim to those things. They could be born gay or a race that is discriminated against in that time and place. And it just smacks of hypocrisy to me, because they have these values against these systems, and yet by creating a child into the world, they're essentially either perpetuating those systems or they are creating a new victim for those systems. It's kind of reminds me of what Peter Vessel-Zapp said. It's like having a child is like carrying wood into a burning building. Leftists are also opposed generally to capitalism. You hear slogans like no ethical consumption under capitalism, but creating someone into capitalism is ethical somehow. So you're creating your child into a capitalist system where they are going to be a slave to the capitalist machine, and they are also going to likely exploit others as part of the capitalist machine, and your child is likely to be a consumer. And so if there's no ethical consumption under capitalism, you're creating another person to do unethical things, i.e. consume under capitalism. Another aspect of leftist hypocrisy on antinatalism is that they tend to be pro-choice on the topic of abortion. So you care about the choice of the woman to decide whether they would have an abortion or not, and yet the fact that no one can choose to come into existence, you create someone into existence, force them into an existence that you essentially say is defined by oppression, and they don't have a choice over it. You do this without their consent. It is impossible for these people to consent to come into existence, and yet you're completely happy to use force then. Again, massive hypocrisy. And the final bit of hypocrisy I wanted to note on is this idea of generational injustice. So this idea of generational injustice, in that there can be an injustice that is perpetuated down the generations or passed down the generations, or there was an initial injustice and the kind of shadow or cascade of it follows through the generations. These things are highlighted by leftists, but only occur if you have new generations. So if you're complaining about generational injustice and yet contributing to the creation of those new generations that suffer the injustice, again, massive hypocrisy. I've probably left out loads of ways that leftists are hypocrites for having biological children or opposing antinatalism, being pronatalist, however you want to frame it. Let me know in the comments below what you think are other ways that leftists are hypocrites on antinatalism. I'm going to be doing other videos hitting at other groups in society, including conservatives, so don't think that they're getting a free pass. But let me know what groups you think I should also do. Again, let me know what you think leftists are also hypocrites on when it comes to antinatalism, and I'll see you in the next one.